it goes on. He gets his permission and he goes and starts his fighting, and he does get a few people down until the enemy gets him down. And of course he calls for his uncle to come on him. It's amazing that a child at that age could have courage like that, that can actually go out there with 40, 50-year-old men, younger, older than that, and say, I am Qasim ibn al-Hasan, which they betrayed. Ali Akbar, of course, is the oldest son of the Imam.
His morals were a reflection of his grandfather. His intellect was a reflection of his grandfather. Ali Akbar used to always insist, even as a young man, he used to say, allow the poor to come and eat from my hands. Yet what type of generosity did he face on the 10th of Muharram?
After the companions had all gone and fought their battles and became shaheed, Ali Akbar was the first to go and ask permission to go and fight. So no one would think that the Imam or the children of Imam think themselves as higher than the rest.
He comes to his father to seek permission for him to leave. You see, with all the other family members of Imam Hussein, his nephews, his brothers, his cousins, with all of them, the case was that Imam Hussein would not grant them permission at the first instance. They would come back, they would plead with him, they would beg him, and only then would the Imam give them permission. The only exception was that when Imam Hussein saw his own son Ali al-Akbar come into the tent and he asked him for permission, the traditions say that Imam Hussein gave him the permission instantly. He didn't wait for him to plead. He didn't wait for him to beseech the Imam for permission. He gave him the permission straight away. It's his own son, and the Imam is there in order to offer a sacrifice.
He hugs Ali Akbar and then asks Ali Akbar to go and speak with the woman of the camp, with his mother and with his auntie, for it is the final hug he would give a mother and the final hug he gives an auntie.
So he went and fought a great battle and killed a lot of the enemy, and he returned to his father.
And he tells his father again, he says, the heat of Kerbala is killing me. What words does his father have to offer as consolation, apart from saying to his son that, my son, within a few moments your grandfather will give you water from the pool of Kawthar.
He said his farewells to his father again and went and fought. And it's been said in history that he was hit one of the most. There were a lot of people fought in that battle, but some of them were hit the worst and mutilated. The history says that they say about him, he says, "Atta'uhu irban irba." They, more than mutilating, they really cut him to pieces. Sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi.
Eventually Imam collects his son's body. It's narrated in a hadith. Imam Hussein looks towards Najaf and he says towards Najaf, towards where his father is buried, "Oh father, you are the one who lifted the gate of Khaybar, yet you never had to lift a spear from the chest of your son. Come towards Kerbala and see me lifting the spear from the chest of my son Ali Akbar."
Abbas was the flag bearer of Imam Hussein.
He was like the backbone of the soldiers who went to defend Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
He was known as a warrior. When the battle started, he would want to go and fight. Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam would not allow him and said that you are the backbone of this army. You need to stay alive. When the companions all went and fought, he wanted to go again. He wasn't granted permission. When the Ahlul Bayt wanted to go, Bani Hashim, he came again, and he was still not granted permission. And after a number of people had gone, and the majority of Bani Hashim was even gone. Maybe a few of the smaller ones were left. Abbas came again and asked for permission. It was not granted.
The Imam kept saying, no, how could I let you go when you are the bearer of my standard? How could I let you go when you are the chief of my forces? How could I let you go when you are the one holding my flag? You represent the hopes of all the family members. You represent the hopes and aspirations of all my daughters and the women and the children. How could I ever let you go? How could my tongue ever give you permission to leave?
The day of Ashura, they had not had any water. That hot day, it was a summer day in Kerbala, very hot, and it's very dry too.
Abu Fadl al-Abbas hears the pangs of thirst of the children around him. Amongst those children is his niece Sukaina, who pleads for water.
These children have not had water, so they're starting to have their cries. They've been having them since maybe early noon, and this is continued until late afternoon. So they come to Abbas and ask, "Uncle, we want water," and they're crying to him. So when he came to the Imam and asked again to go to battle, the Imam saw these children crying. He said, "You can go and get them some water."
Now the Imam, remember, gave him a specific mission. He didn't ask him to go and fight the enemy forces. He didn't ask him to go and defend Imam Hussein's life. He said, if you have to go and get some water.
Abbas comes forward. He tells Sukaina, "I will go now and I will bring you the water." He goes towards the Euphrates.
Abu al-Fadl Abbas wasn't out there to fight. He was out there with a mission, and the mission was to bring back some water. He goes to the battlefield. He pushes away a huge cavalry of the enemy forces from the water, from the river Euphrates.
They realized that they can't get him. So what they decided was that they were going to wait for him to come back. In the meantime, go and hide between the trees and behind the trees. So when he comes, they can take him by surprise instead of coming in front and start fighting him.
When he approaches the water, he enters the cool waters of the Euphrates. No one would have blamed Al-Abbas centuries later when we recall and recount his story. No one would have blamed him. No one would have said, why did Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas drink from the water? No one would have said Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas should have waited until his brother had a drink before he did. No one would have said that.